Here we are with another Artist Spotlight, and today I am with Laurinda Raquel at the Harwich Cultural Center. It's room 204, so that you would know how to find her. This room is a feast for the eyes and the senses. I am completely taken with it and very excited to learn more about what it is that Laurinda does in this space. I'm sure there are many, many things that you work on with people, and I know it's all about people and about their sense of self. And I think you can probably tell me more about that. But first, I would love to know a little bit about how you got your start doing this. To create a space like this is so challenging and so exciting and so full of life. And so I think you must have come to it quite fully formed, and yet you're still, I'm sure, forming yourself along with helping other people form their sense of self.
Oh, wow, that says a lot, Dina. And that you said quite formed yourself. So I left the technology world, the information technology world, when I was 43. I am now 60. But prior to that, these were my self-care tools. And in that world, I worked mostly with men. And I was in an executive position, but it was always interesting to watch somebody come into my office and notice that I had essential oils, that I had a book opened up for a meditation. So the transition, when I left that world, I was one of the founders of this last company that I was with. And when I left, that company was sold to a public company. And I recognized that there was this abundance and this financial security, which is important in life to feel grounded and safe. I asked for a natural calling and definitely got that message. I could have gone on to consult at that point of my life, but when this calling came in, I realized, oh, my library consisted of this. So I started my training journey in Reiki, became a Reiki master first, and then went on. I love to learn. You can probably figure that out by looking at the books. I love to learn, and that will be a never-ending journey for me in life. And so it was one step at a time of this unfolding process. I started by traveling. That was my only request. Please let it include travel. So the first 6 years, I was traveling and working with retreat companies and only doing the energy work behind the scenes. And I loved that because I had been front and forward for so many years in management. So that gave me a chance to really restore and to really serve myself in a way where somebody else was out front doing all the marketing, all the planning. I just had to show up to do energy work.
It was like you found a new role for yourself in your life.
Yes.
For that period of time.
Yes.
And then it evolved.
Yes.
Into sharing that more openly with others.
Yes, absolutely. So of course, you know, chapters always come to an end. And I did that for 6 years and realized I had 2 rooms in my basement that I had refinished to be my sanctuary, my meditation space, where I would go and play the bowls for myself. I didn't travel with the bowls at that time. And I recognized when the travel was just feeling like I needed some more time home, I turned that space into my studio space. So a lot of what's here was already in that studio space. And of course, there's always additions.
And when was it that you actually transferred to this really beautiful space? And I'm sure you may have painted the walls yourself.
My husband, yes.
Yes, so you created this environment, but it is an ideal space, as many of the studios here are in the Cultural Center. But
So,
this is really perfect for you.
Yes, and so a big piece of it, and this is what I love to do with clients through the different modalities that are mind, body, and spirit is to support that inner voice, that non-linear voice. And when we're up here, we're not feeling it. It's so subtle. So when I moved in here, I started with 4 folding tables that I didn't unpack, and I would come into the space and feel into how it was going to be used. I've been here now 5 years on the Cape. I had started doing sound baths with Pilgrim's Landing. One of my intentions was to become more community-based in terms of co-creating and collaborating with others in the community. And so I had already begun that. I thought this space was going to be for my own creative inspiration. I ended up returning those tables back to Job Lot because I never opened them, and the vision started to come in that this could be a soul collage space. I had been trained in soul collage facilitation, and it was just taking one step at a time. I like to think of it as a connect the dots. We, as human beings, love to figure it all out. It gives us safety in the brain all at once sometimes. And you're an artist, so you can really understand what I'm saying. Sometimes it's just taking the first step and then waiting for what is speaking to us
Absolutely.
as the next step.
Well, certainly it is part of the creative process, including creating your sense of self
Yes.
and helping others create their sense of self.
Yes.
So I know we have limited time to cover all of the wonderful, wonderful modalities that you appear to be able to use here, but I'm wondering if you might be able to demonstrate the bowls, the use of the
Yes.
bowls in some way.
Yes, and I use the bowls with everything that I do. So this is just fabulous to give a demo. I incorporate them very lightly during soul collage. I bring them in to my one-on-one when I do an energy session. And then I also do sound baths in the community. And I've partnered with someone who, actually I want to start here, with someone who chants and plays the guitar. And it was amazing, the harmonics that this added. So I'll just give a small sampling of each bowl. So as each bowl is played, that was just striking to, isn't that amazing? And that was just so lightly. This is a bowl that is a Divine Mother bowl. So the energy is very nurturing, very heart-centered, as are these two. And then many times, I love the binaural sound. These bowls are made by a company in Salt Lake City, and I love that they're made in the U.S.
I was going to ask, are they made for this purpose?
Yes.
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 Okay.
And they're crystals. They start out as crystals and they get formed, so they're not painted. And then the tuning happens after they're produced.
Oh.
So it's not a mass production that they say, okay, we want to make 200
Right.
E4s.
Right. It's still resonating.
Yes.
And it's hard to know whether that's inside me at this point,
Yeah.
whether I'm still hearing it, or whether it's actually still producing sound.
That's a very beautiful observation because the sound works from the outside
Yeah,
in.
yeah,
So yes,
yeah.
you are
Wow.
still feeling it.
That's very powerful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for demonstrating that. Can you talk a little bit about the soul collage? You said you play these while you're doing soul collage work with your
Yes.
clients.
Yes.
And I know you have a board here with examples of your own soul collage.
Yes. What I love most about soul collage is it gives people something that is experiential. And I have a few experiential arts that I work with, but right now I'm focusing on soul collage as in group settings. And then it becomes embodied through that experiential, and it's tangible. It's a tangible resource. And the cards have so much to say to us. So there is a process to have people shift from that linear place to the subconscious so that that stream of consciousness can come through as they complete their card that may have been based on a particular theme. I work with the theme of coming home to myself and that inner voice. And then that inquiry process it's fascinating, and I love to watch the expression in the room. There are many ways to do readings. There are ways to grow your deck and use them in your everyday life. And I can say so much more, but that's just
Yes.
a little pebble
Yes.
in the stream.
And you do all that with clients. You work with groups as well as with individuals. Is that right?
Yes, correct. When I work with an individual, very often we do a discussion on what's going on for them, what their focus wants to be in that mind, body, spirit realm. I will do energy work and go in and just check to see where the energy body is, the chakra system. And then from there, I bring in the bowls and bring their frequency up. It raises their frequency and begins an opening process. And from there, we do a check-in. And for example, I may have a client that's in grief over a lost family member. So that may be the process that they would like to focus on their soul collage making. Other folks, it may be a health issue, and they're looking for a tool to bring joy to them. They might be experiencing depression. And for other folks, it may just be that they have found the next step in their own spiritual development, and they want to open up to more.
Yes, and you have so many tools here to use with them and to allow them to use and to explore. And in fact, I'm delighted you gave me this card, which I think will tell me how to reach you, which just happens to match my outfit, and it just feels right to be here.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm sure many people will experience that as well.
Yes, and that is so true. It's one of my joys when people step in and they go, oh, it smells delightful in here from the essential oil
It's
diffuser.
true. Yes.
Or the music brings them into that state of relaxation. And they often will say to me, it's like I've just stepped into another paradigm.
It does feel that way. And yes, with the hurrying around of the world, it's really great to step into this little corner at room 204 in the Cultural Center. So,
yes. And I'm always so grateful to be in this space. It really, and I live in a place where it's very quiet and peaceful, but there's a different essence here.
well, it's a set-aside place. It's a place really for going deeper.
Yes.
And it feels safe. It feels very safe, I would say, too.
Oh, thank you.
That's always a wonderful, wonderful feeling, and I'm sure many people experience that coming in.
Yes, they do.
yeah.
And that's an important piece of, having
you're
the
doing.
courage
Yes,
to be
yes.
vulnerable. Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Laurinda. I wish we had more time. I wish I could
Yes.
spend all day here. It feels really nurturing and feels like a very full experience, even being here for a few minutes. So I appreciate so much your sharing what you
thank
do,
you.
and I hope other people will have an opportunity to come and share it too with Laurinda. And so for now, I'm Dinah Lane, signing off for Channel 18 in Harwich. Thank you so much.